What's going on, you guys and gals? Welcome to Victorious Overcomers PAH. It's been a minute since I did the video. Let's get straight into the content. What I wanted to talk about today is rejection and how rejection fuels low self esteem, but ultimately, that low self esteem uh, renders itself in people struggling with watching pornography and or masturbation. Now, how is that? Well, simply this: people that feel rejected feel like they have to attach themselves to something, whether that's something be negative and whether that's something be positive. In this instance, I'm specifically talking about pornography. People that feel rejected watch pornography because it gives them a sense of validation. How does it give them a sense of validation? Well, because in many instances, what I found, people that struggle with porn aren't getting affirmed in their daily life. Maybe potentially to say if the person is married, maybe the sex life with their wife is not good, or their for the ladies, their husband's not good. Maybe they're in a situation if they're single where they can't attract the opposite sex. Maybe they're quote unquote shy, and basically because of this rejection, they feel like the only time that I feel worthy, the only time that I feel valid, is when I fulfill myself through this fantasy of pornography. Because let's just face it, folks, when you're watching a porn, or if you have watched a porn, at that moment you get this dopamine rush. And the reason you get that dopamine rush because you've created those neurotransmitters, and I've talked about that in other videos. But more specifically, is because when you see that woman looking dead at you in that camera, you're imagining yourself with that person. You're imagining yourself. So when you see that guy, quote unquote, having sex with that woman, right? That guy becomes your avatar. That guy becomes an extension of you. So you see that beautiful woman and you say to yourself, that's me right there. That should be me. Or in many instances, you feel like that's you. And because you feel like that's you and your mind is attached to that virtual avatar called that porn actor, having sex with that porn actress, you get this rush, and all of a sudden you feel validated. You feel like, I feel wanted. I feel good in my self-esteem, because the reality is, in real life, right? I don't get those opportunities. In real life, maybe I'm an insult. In real life, I feel rejected. In real life, nobody talks to me. In real life, I'm so shy that I cannot get the girl's telephone number. I'm scared to get a woman's telephone number. In real life, people regard me as a loser. In real life, I don't have enough swag, quote unquote, to let women know what I think or how I feel. Or for the women that deal with it, I don't have enough gumption to let my man to just put it all on him, or whatever the case may be. So, in because the real life is so cantankerous, this porn allows me the opportunity to be what I truly want to be, and that's the man. In porn, I don't get rejected. In porn, I get validated. In porn, I can be with the best looking woman in the world, and she will always want to be with me. There's no no. There's no, let me ask her for a phone number and she tells me, nah, I got a boyfriend. It's none of that. So That's one of the main reasons people get they get addicted, if you will, to pornography, is because of the real life ramifications of it. Because they feel like this is a substitute for my failures in real life. So, what do you do? Because we could talk all day long about the problem, and I've broken it down, I feel like, so succinctly now, right? The problem is you just got to really start making decisions to build up confidence. You got to go out there and you got to see what the root of your issue is. And I said it's rejection. Some of you guys have that rejection because you don't think you're worthy. You think you're ugly. So what do? You start going to the gym. You start working, like working out, eating better. You start engaging in conversations that may make you feel uncomfortable, but get used to taking those L's because life is going to give you L's sometimes. So don't be afraid to go up to the young lady and have her to turn you down. That's life. I Here's the thing: there's a such thing as growing pains, and I remember when I was in high school, man, I had a hard time attracting a lot of girls because I was sort of shy, right? But then when I got to college, I didn't really have a lot of those issues. Why? Because I became more confident. So you have to get used to taking those L's. And even then, I took more L's than I got victory, right? But that's a good thing because that brings character. And even to the point now to where, I'm married and I have a beautiful wife, right? And my wife rejected me at first, right? But hey, look, I got her now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. But my point is, sometimes people are so used to not taking L's, or they feel like they never want to take an L, that they just give up on life in general, man. Let me tell you something. Embrace the L. Embrace the L. There's a saying that says this: man's rejection is God's protection. Sometimes I look back on those L's that I took by some of those ladies, and I'm sort of happy. I'm like, yo, man, thank God she turned me down. Thank God she rejected me. Because no telling where I would have been in my life had she would have accepted me. Had I, would have been with her. And then, you hear stories of some of those people that you try to talk to, and you hear about them now, and their life is a mess, and you're like, well, I could have been a mess too with her. And it's not celebrating it, but it's just the truth. Sometimes you get rejected. Being rejected is a good thing. Sometimes your rejection can be the catalyst for you being successful in other areas of your life. So I say that just to say this, folks: rejection is the key to your success. Let me say that again. Rejection can be the key to your success. So don't look at rejection as a bad thing. But in terms of pornography, look at it as a bad thing because you don't want that rejection to turn into a behavior that will that could swamp you down the road, that could destroy your life, it could destroy your marriage, destroy the way that you look at yourself. Because the reality is you don't need porn. The reality is when you consider those women that you're looking at in that pornography, a lot of those girls are victims of sexual trafficking, human trafficking. A lot of them have been raped as children, have been molested. A lot of them, you see those scenes, they have to go through multiple takes, and those girls are in pain. A lot of those sets are filthy, and a lot of them are drug addicts. Not saying, I've met some porn stars before that they were very nice people. So I'm not one of those people like, oh, they're just trashy people. They're not good people. No, it's good people in all kind of walks of life. But I'm just saying that if you knew the cost of what those young ladies had to do had to go through in order to bring you that fantasy, quote unquote, many of you guys wouldn't even want to watch it anymore. So that's all I'm saying, man. Do things. The solution in this instance is to do things to build your self-esteem up, such as making new friends, one, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, and that couldn't even encompass one. Some of you guys are like that because you need to get out of the house. You need to get out of the virtual world. And yeah, Call of Duty is good and all that kind of stuff, but you need to learn how to engage with real life people and have real life conversations. You need to be able to feel rejection. Let me say that again. You need to be able to feel rejection because it's like going to the gym. Like I started back going to the gym, right? And when you lift in those weights, it hurts. It hurts. Especially if it's muscles that you haven't used in a long time, right? But it's good because that hurt, if you will, is triggering growth. It's triggering muscle growth. And that's how you have to look at rejection. It's triggering confidence in you. It's triggering swagger in you. It's triggering awareness in you. It's triggering you knowing what you should and you shouldn't do in your life, right? Um, for the people that's married, so well, man, I already have somebody and I'm struggling with it, and I'm watching it maybe because my wife is not giving me any or whatever. Well, look and see what the health reasons are that your wife may not be doing it, right? Maybe some health ramifications behind that. Or it could be just you're not a romantic person. See, folks, there's always a reason behind things. We can always use pornography as an outlet, but at the end of the day, folks, what choices are you making? So that's what I'm saying. What I want you guys to do is this. I want you to sit back and I want you to honestly do an assessment of your life. And I want you right now to ask yourself this question. What am I doing to feel rejected? Or do I feel rejected? Do I have things in my life that are bogging me down right now? What are the stressors in my life? Because the reason I ask you that question, because oftentimes when a person is stressed out, when a person has environmental stressors, if you will, it triggers certain behaviors. Say that again. When a person has environmental stressors, it can potentially trigger certain behaviors. And in this instance, it's triggering you watching pornography. You're watching pornography because you are being triggered by certain environmental factors. In this video, I talked about rejection. I talked about different manifestations of rejection. Maybe you've been rejected by your spouse. Maybe you've been rejected by your job. Maybe you've been rejected by the opposite sex in general, trying to get their number, whatever the case may be. So it manifests itself in, let me watch this pornography because it makes me feel better about myself. Watching this pornography makes me feel validated. It makes me feel accepted. So then that lets me know the way to deal with that is by going to the root of it. One of the ways is going to the root of it, and that's the rejection itself, and not being afraid to be honest about the rejection. Not being afraid to look in the mirror and to be honest, especially as men, because men can be a little bit prideful, which is another video in and of itself. And saying, you know what? I'm hurt by the fact that I can't get a woman. I'm hurt by the fact that my wife rejected me. I'm hurt by the fact that I lost my job. I'm hurt by the fact that people look at me like a loser. Whatever your thing is, and you sit down and you really be honest about that, right? Because I can guarantee if you can figure out what that root of rejection is, you can stamp it out and destroy it, because that root is the highway, if you will, just leading straight to pornography. You can take the 95 north and go from Miami or Jacksonville, go. I mean, straight up the eastern seaboard to New York City, right? 95 north, and it'll get you there. Same thing with this. Some of you guys are taking the 95 north straight to pornography because you've been rejected. So we want to cut off that highway today. If you can just do that one simple thing, that will aid you in overcoming porn addiction. Let me know what you think about this video. Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. Peace. Excuse me. Peace.